What your doctor doesn't know is that healing does not result from drugs or surgical intervention because sickness is not caused by problems with your anatomy. It's the other way around. Sickness causes problems with your anatomy, and sickness is caused by something else entirely. Living a healthy life is a matter of living a life free of sickness, and sickness can be removed just by understanding 5 natural laws of healing. These laws were discovered in the early 1980s by a cancer doctor, Dr. Ryke Hamer. He called them the 5 biological laws. When your mind-body biocomputer instantly and appropriately responds to any event in your experience totally without your conscious attention or control, it's doing so because it can't help it, because of these 5 natural laws of healing. And thank goodness this is all being taken care of automatically, because if you had to remember to breathe or control your blood sugar level, you wouldn't last 30 seconds. The first one was the law of conflict, or the iron rule of cancer, which states that every health symptom from a grouchy mood to a tumor to a flu epidemic begins with a conflict experience, technically called a DHS. The law of conflict shows us that since physical symptoms begin with a conflict in the mind, then the first step to dissolving physical symptoms is to take charge of your mind. The law of process, scientifically referred to as the law of the 2 phases, states that everything in the living world operates on an energy out, energy in cycle. That is, all living things are either in an active stress phase or a resting healing phase. These 2 phases are referred to as day and night. And when they're exaggerated due to conflict or healing from a conflict, the 2 phases are called lasting day and lasting night. The law of process shows us that we can ease our symptoms by using day-mimicking therapies if we're experiencing lasting night symptoms, and using night-mimicking therapies if we're having lasting day symptoms. The law of relevance, referred to by professionals as the ontogenetic system of significant biological special programs, states that every one of the approximately 500 different types of conflicts that you might experience is handled by one and only one of 4 totally separate subsystems in your mind-body biocomputer. The law of relevance shows us that we can determine the exact nature of our conflict by the type of symptom we have, which removes our misunderstanding of our symptom and therefore prevents us from having new conflicts out of fear of our symptom. New conflicts are the only way that disease can spread around our bodies or from one person to another. And then there's the law of ecology, or in technical terms, the ontogenetic system of microbes. The law of ecology states that germs are participants in the healing of your body after resolving a conflict, and they are not the direct cause of your symptoms. Disease spreads between people not because of germs, but because we communicate conflicts to one another. The law of ecology shows us that epidemics are caused by herd mentality, and to stay healthy, you've got to think for yourself and remain conscious about what's really going on, rather than picking up other people's conflicts. This 8th and final video is about what I believe to be the most important of the 5 natural laws of healing. That is, the 5th natural law of healing, which is the law of meaning. It's the quintessence of it all, providing the key to transmute sickness into success in every area of life. When you truly understand and apply the 5th law of healing, you literally cannot fail to become healthy, not just in your body, but in every aspect of your life. Everything you experience comes to you not from the world out there, but from your own mind. Nothing out there can make you have any experience. When you perceive something, your unconscious mind receives sensory data and then brings up associated thoughts and beliefs that you already have. And this is what you become aware of. For example, if you put your awareness on the idea of a chair, what's really happening is you're accessing sensory information associated with the sound of the word chair, and then you're comparing that to memory information about visual and kinesthetic and other associations with the word chair and past experiences that you've had with chair. What you experience as chair then is actually an experience of your own unconscious understanding of chair. If I tell you now to put your awareness instead on usilalo and you draw a blank, it's probably because you have no unconscious reference for an usilalo, even though you might be sitting on one. The reason why it's so important to really get this is that every thought you think is either taking you in the direction of your ideal life or away from it. By away from your ideal life, I mean sick or unhappy. Every experience you have, good or bad, is resulting from the way that you access your unconscious. You have the ability through your conscious awareness, the one and only part of your biocomputer over which you do have control, to choose experiences of perfect, wonderful health and a problem-free life, to choose the experience of physical and emotional pleasure, choose to do what you want, the ability to have mobility, agility, strength, flexibility, knowing you can count on yourself, and waking up in the morning excited about your day. How exactly then do you get from where you are to that? Well, with any journey, there are 3 basic steps. Step 1, we've already talked about. Know what you're headed for. Step 2, assess your current position in relation to that destination. Step 3, make adjustments as necessary to move in the direction of your destination. So the first step in navigating your mind-body biocomputer, or any vehicle for that matter, is to know your destination. Do you know what you want? Are you one of the 3% of us who have clear personal goals? Or do you have the goals of your parents, your friends, your partner, or society? Or perhaps you feel that ambition and desire are selfish or unspiritual, so you have no goals at all. After you choose your destination, the second step in navigation is to assess where you are right now. This requires acceptance of reality, which is, if you think about it, kind of tricky. We don't want to be negative, but really, where are you now? Do you look and feel great? Do you have plenty of energy? Is your daily life enjoyable and free of problems? Does your body feel pleasurable? Are you able to physically enjoy the activities of your choice, and does it feel good to use your body in fun and outgoing ways? How about your relationships? Do you feel safe, secure, and supported by those closest to you? Do you feel that you can trust the people that you connect with the most? Are your material needs met? Do you enjoy what you spend time on? Okay, now stop thinking about how it is, because it's time for the third step, which is, after noticing any ways you're not living in your desired state, take a course-correcting action. Unfortunately, this can go against what you want to do because you've got to focus your attention, and this requires energy and effort. For example, you can't just manifest your result without taking action. You can't stare at your car in the driveway in the morning affirming that you're at work. You've got to actually get in the car, start it up, back it out the driveway, and so on. It's the same with your inner states as it is with your outer navigation systems. Self-healing comes down to these 3 steps. First, you choose to feel good in your body. Then you put your attention on some part of your body that feels heavy or tight or a different temperature or has some sort of discomfort. And then you move this part of your body. Then you assess how the movement affected the feeling, and you tweak and adjust in ways to increase the sense of pleasure in that part of your body. And you repeat this process a bajillion gazillion times, and that's the journey, no matter the destination and no matter the vehicle. If you're one of the 99.9% of us who to one degree or another do not look and feel the way we would like, who struggle with painful and life-limiting symptoms, who don't feel that we can control our thoughts, emotions, or behavior, or who don't have the outer material and relationship success that we desire, it doesn't mean that your biocomputer navigation system isn't working right. What you perceive as problems with your anatomy or emotions or your life are a direct response to you not using your biocomputer correctly. And since the only part of your biocomputer that you have control over is your conscious awareness, if you aren't getting the physical results you want, then it's because you're not using your conscious awareness in a way that will get you those results. This is exactly what 999 out of 1,000 of us are doing to one degree or another, creating struggle and lack in our lives instead of enjoying abundant health and success, as is our birthright. But this is not human nature, as many would have you believe. This is something that you have learned. Your unconscious mind, brain, body system is making billions of calculations every second, all without you even noticing. Your conscious awareness, on the other hand, can go only up to 24 frames per second, which works out to a maximum of around 7 thought processes at a time. So almost the entire apparatus of your biocomputer is your unconscious, over which you have no control. Your unconscious biocomputer is enormous. It has a computing capacity that would make the biggest supercomputer on the planet look like a toy. Meanwhile, your conscious mind can't even handle as many processes at once as a smartphone. It's like having a gigantic library with trillions of titles, but your borrowing limit is 7 items at a time. Being upset, resisting your own body, beating yourself up because you're not where you want to be, just wastes your consciousness. It just pisses your 7 thoughts into the wind. What you need to do to heal and live a healthy life is to use your 7 available thoughts to make positive adjustments wherever you're off course to your desired state of perfect health. And never do anything else with your 7 available thoughts. And this is how all navigation systems work. For example, did you know that airplanes are off course for 95% of the journey? The plane constantly measures its speed and bearing in relation to the programmed destination and makes continuous tiny adjustments. But despite all that, it's off course 95% of the time. And yet, lo and behold, that plane makes a 20-hour journey halfway around the planet and manages to arrive exactly at its intended destination on time to the minute. Pretty impressive. Your biocomputer navigation system is way more sophisticated than that of an airplane. As long as you're focusing your thoughts on your desired state, your amazing biocomputer navigation system will automatically make the billions of corrections per second that will keep putting you back in the right direction. Whether we're talking about losing a little extra weight or healing AIDS, it's the same process. But here's the problem for most of us. Here's what we end up experiencing. We've got no goals, we've got no control over how we feel, life just happens to us. We feel guilty about things we have no control over, we place blame, we worry about what others think, we're confused, we experience one crisis after another. We just can't keep our focus on positive thoughts. This is so common that it's considered human nature. Religions, governments, and healthcare systems are built around the belief that things have to be this way. But when you're stuck, the problem is not that your navigation system is broken or that you're just a lousy person. Your biocomputer navigation system always flawlessly corrects you to head you toward your destination. The problem is that you have 2 destinations. Your biocomputer is trying to serve 2 masters, and a house divided cannot stand. See, your conscious destination, if you've got one, is to be a happy, healthy, and unique expression of human life. But if you're one of the 99.9% of us who aren't experiencing perfect health in every area of your life, then you've got another destination, an unconscious one that's been programmed into your biocomputer system. Because your unconscious is much, much bigger than your conscious, every time you're not conscious, your unconscious destination will override. This unconscious destination is the goal of being normal. Since your unconscious is huge and your conscious mind is teeny-weeny, at any time that you're not consciously focusing your 7 thoughts on your desired destination, your biocomputer is automatically taking you back to whatever happens to be normal for you. So while you consciously want to be an astronaut or a ballerina astronaut or whatever, your biocomputer is ruthlessly keeping you in your cubicle. Using your biocomputer to stay normal means turning your amazing navigation system into a thermostat. Instead of thinking about your wonderful life as a ballerina astronaut, you're putting your 7 items of conscious awareness on the world out there and thinking about how abnormal you are in comparison. Or by being unhappy about how different your life is from how you want it to be, you end up actually knocking yourself unconscious with addiction behaviors. Think about how many hours a day you spend on social media, entertainment, interacting with or thinking about the world out there. For most of us, it's the entire waking day. Now compare that to how many hours a day you spend contemplating your true nature, your desired states, or personal development. If you're not putting as much attention on your inner world as you are on your outer world, you need look no further for the cause of your less than ideal health. The only reason we've got this silly idea about being normal is that it's the foundation of an obedient, scarcity-based society, which happens to be the economic model that's dominated the planet for the past few thousand years. That's why so many of us have this program to one extent or another. Not because it's human nature, not because it's the way to get what we want, not even because it's the right way in a moral sense. We have this program because we learn at a very young age to stuff our unique desire and just go along to get along. Going along to get along is not meeting our needs for health, security, and love. Our society is overflowing with conflict, and this results in epidemics of emotional and physical dis-ease. The beginning of our civilization was also the beginning of mass epidemics, mass insane behavior requiring government control, and terrible overall health. Archaeological studies in the areas of the birth of our civilization show a drop in life expectancy from over 100 years to under 40 years. Life expectancy has only recently crawled partly back to what it should be, and it's not because of gross medical intervention into our anatomy. It's because we're in the early stages of a major evolutionary shift in our entire global consciousness. The 1 in 1,000 who are successful, who are living purposeful, joyful, vibrantly healthy lives, are not going along to get along. They're pursuing their own personal goals. The dominant medical paradigm says both your illnesses and your healing come from out there somewhere. We approximate health through avoidance and through anatomical correction therapies. But the truth that's been revealed by science is that nothing comes from out there, because there is no out there. Everything comes from your own consciousness. So if you want to change the appearances, if you want to change the world out there, including your own physical body, you have to change your consciousness. Your navigation system is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. But when you're not taking control of your awareness, you're unconscious. Your lights are on, but there's no captain on board. Your biocomputer, being left to its own devices, just repeats your past experiences, no matter how crappy they were. To change any symptom or situation, realize that you simply cannot solve a problem with the same thought processes that created the problem. You have to put your conscious awareness on your chosen destination. There are two ways to notice when you have not been conscious. The first is that you're experiencing a symptom, that is, a compulsion or addiction, a scary thought, a negative emotion, or physical discomfort. The second way to notice when you're being unconscious is when something happens to you from out there, especially if it's a repeat. What you're really oriented on when you're focused out there is the meaning you've already made about that circumstance. That meaning isn't real in the now. It's coming up from your unconscious. Just like an airplane, you can course correct too. Everything you experience comes through your own mind. You become conscious just by noticing when you've been unconscious, and then giving yourself something better to think about. Once you bring this navigation system around, course correction will become part of your habit. You just tell your biocomputer your desired state so it knows what it's headed for. Consciously choose the best thoughts. Imagine how it looks and feels to be healthy. Imagine yourself in beautiful surroundings, interacting with your favorite kinds of people, doing the kinds of activities that you would most love to do. Imagine making all the money you could possibly need, helping everyone you want to help, doing exactly the kind of service that you're uniquely good at doing. Imagine feeling great, having loads of energy, tons of strength, and being really nimble. Do this all day long, every day. Since your biocomputer will take you wherever you want to go, make sure you want to go somewhere awesome. The law of meaning states that all your challenges in life come about in order to make you stronger and to expand your consciousness. That's the reason for your past illnesses and problems. Only by overcoming a challenge, only by consciously moving in the direction of a desired state, does your consciousness expand. But this might be too woo-woo for you, so I'll just give you the straight-up biology of it. Scientists have known for about 3 decades now that genes do not control us. Instead, our genes change in adaptation to our biological needs. For example, if we have a biological need for less skin pigmentation because our tribe has migrated to a more northerly latitude, within a few generations our descendants will have lighter colored skin. The mechanistic Darwinian paradigm says that random genetic changes that happen by accident or by carcinogens somehow get lucky now and then, and these lucky accidents are what made us how we are. But Darwin learned from the scarcity economist Adam Smith. It's the same old paradigm of us just being helpless victims of the world out there. But in almost a century of scientific research, there's never been an observed genetic mutation leading to an evolutionary change in the population. However, offering a test population a positive change in their environment will induce genetic change within as little as 1 generation. This is how all biological evolution happens. And in a nutshell, it means that every time you overcome a real challenge in life, you improve the gene pool of the human species. However, if you aren't evolving, biologically speaking, you're not really living, you're dying. Because if you aren't actively putting energy into self-organization, then another natural law kicks in, the law of entropy, also known as the second law of thermodynamics. It's kind of a put up or shut up, go big or go home game. And I mean this literally. Your conflicts are not only making you sick. If they're prolonged or serious enough, they will end your life. Your role in life is to be at the leading edge of this expansion of human possibility. All that you can pass on to your children and future generations is wherever you are now, for better or worse. So choose to become a navigator again instead of a thermostat. The successful ones either failed to learn to go along to get along, or they had a moment of realization that woke them up to the fact that life's not about repeating the same experience over and over again. The successful ones decided to take a risk and do something different. The successful ones know that if you want to feel good, you've got to choose to feel good, and then you've got to course correct and keep on correcting until your outer experience matches your inner desire. The successful ones do not play to avoid losing. That's staying stuck. The successful ones play to win. So what do you want to win at? Make a list. It's time to get started. I'm Lishwi Springford. I struggled with health and success challenges for a long time. In hindsight, after I'd done the work to resolve the symptoms, I realized that the unconscious conflicts fueling my debilitating panic disorder were the culprit. I thought I got it under control by learning to say no to everything and having a very boring existence. But when I dug out the conflicts to finally end my anxiety for good, that's when I discovered that I hadn't gotten my anxiety under control. It had gotten me under control. Ha! When you think you've got your life pretty much settled, when you think that it's okay, it's good enough, it's tolerable, you need to go bigger. To learn anything new, to get out of a steady state existence in which being normal is your highest goal, you've got to be willing to experience some royal screw-ups. I learned from experience that the quickest way to have a breakthrough in life is to wake up to what's really going on in your biocomputer, and that requires this willingness to see things how they are and to decide that you want something better. The Mindtree Health Process is a set of communication tools to help you consciously access your own unconscious, effortlessly make the right health choices for yourself, and create a pain-free, agile, strong, joyful, and vibrantly alive life. Thank you for joining me. I look forward to being with you again soon to help you overcome obstacles on your journey to achieving your very special and important purpose in life. Until then, be well and have a great day. I hope you found the video interesting and informative. Please like and subscribe, and check out my video, How to Find the Conflict That's Causing Your Symptom. Link in the description.